Rise and shine, Pastor Ken here, and this is the third day in our talk and our little study on 40. I was riding along the car this morning and I asked Charlotte, I said, in 40 days, where will that put us from when I preach next Sunday? And she calculated and said 2 days after Resurrection Sunday. This is where this little study comes from. 40. It's used all the way up through the Bible. From now until Resurrection Sunday, the cross, the resurrection, and 2 days after, 40. I'm challenging you and I to better ourselves spiritually. I'm encouraging you. Make Jesus the Lord of your life. He'll take you places you've never dreamed. He'll answer prayers for you never thought possible. Most of all, He'll cleanse your heart from all unrighteousness through the price that Jesus paid and write your name down in the Lamb's Book of Life. How about the story in Numbers chapter 13, referred to as Moses sending the 12 spies into the land of Canaan to check out the land. How long were they there? 40 days, 40 nights. Numbers 13. They came back with a report. They come back carrying clusters of grapes that were so huge. It took 2 men to carry them on a pole. It was no joke or exaggeration to say it truly was a land of milk and honey. But God had promised this land to Abraham and his descendants. When the 12 spies came back out of the promised land, Canaan, they had conflicting reports. 10 of them said, it's the most beautiful place we've ever been. But the people in there are so huge. They are so battle-oriented. We are like grasshoppers in their sight. And we vote, no go, no go. Joshua and Caleb spoke up and said, Moses, everything these folks said is the truth. It's a beautiful land. That cluster of grapes ought to show you how this place got its name, the milk and honey part. It's prosperous. It's blooming. You wouldn't believe what this land is like. And God has brought us out of Egypt, across the wilderness, and brought us to this moment. We are more than able to go in and conquer this land. And we recommend we do it right now. Here we have 10 with a negative report and 2 with a very positive, faith-filled report. I'd like to tell you that the positive and the faith won. But that group of people, over 1 million of them, were turned aside and went back into the wilderness to walk around in the wilderness. Do you know how long? 40 years. Now, after that whole crowd had died, they once again stand at the Jordan River. God comes down. Moses gives a final lecture. God takes him. And God attends his funeral. He's the only one who attends it. And as Joshua recaps the whole story of how this is his second time to come here, we're not going to lose it this time. We're going to take it. And Joshua obeyed God just the same as Moses obeyed God. And they entered into the promised land. As Moses led the children across the Red Sea, Joshua and Caleb led the Israelites across the Jordan River, where they came to Jericho. One of the greatest miracles. We'll talk about it another day. The city of Jericho falling down. What is the bottom line on this Bible story where the number 40 is used twice? I perceive it as this: 10 negative, 2 positive. The spirit of disbelief and unbelief and fear versus the spirit of faith. And so in these 40 days, while I'm encouraging you for a spiritual transformation in your heart, do you trust God? Do you believe that He's able to do exceedingly abundantly, more than you can even ask or think? That's what the Word says. Do you believe He's bigger than any situation that you're facing? Could I challenge you concerning the negative talk and the disbelief and the unbelief? Nip it in the bud. It's the reason whole societies and whole churches have gone downstream and lost their effectiveness. They choose to believe a negative report. They believe the day of miracles has passed with the apostolic age. And they're just believing they got to ride it out, which is leading to a sense of coldness and lukewarmness within their heart and church. God is able to do exceedingly abundantly more than you can even ask or think. Be positive. It's a first cousin to faith. Be positive. Remember, 40 days with God in a transformation in a transforming environment will bring you out of your days. And me as well. And that's what I'm asking God for this year. Help us to take the unthinkable, the unchangeable, our worst sets of circumstances, and bring them to God and believe that God's able to either take us over them, around them, or through them. But let's have faith and believe in God and be positive. If you're going to only talk positive, you got some excommunications going on. You got to be willing to cut some things out. Part of it might be the news, who you listen to. Might it be your friends who just always find something negative in life? It might be every source of news except the Bible, and the Bible is true. And there are negative things in the Bible. But I challenge you, believe God, trust God, and see where that'll take you in the next 40 days. Tell him what you need and want, and be willing to do whatever he says for you to do. If he puts his finger on something in your life that you need to give or give up, be willing. And when Resurrection Sunday arrives and Jesus gets up out of the grave, I believe there's going to be some people that have real resurrection within their personal lives. May God bless you. Thanks for spending the time with us. We'll catch you tomorrow and Rise and Shine.